Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, the boxing world, we got bad news. I talked about it in my last video. I don't know which one I'm upload first, but rest in peace, Roger Mayweather. I want to say that again. Um, the original Black Mamba. And we just gotta pay tribute to that. We know how great he was for boxing. The story of his career, two-time champ, two-division champ, trained, the GOAT basically, and Floyd Mayweather, his nephew. So, rest in peace again. We want to make sure that's clear. Um, Now moving on to heavyweight, right? We got Tyson Fury in the news a lot of late, right? In the news a lot with a lot, guys. There's a lot of things going on with Tyson Fury. You know, the back and forth about the glove controversy. Those who think that there's an issue there, and those that don't. Um, but at some point, those that don't, there's going to become fewer and fewer because it just happens too often. Some people who are defending this glove gate or the things that are going on with this glove are defending like as a if it's an isolated incident, right? Like that if it happened once, then possibly. But if you catch him pulling on it and people are pulling on it to make sure that it's not in there, and this has happened in three separate fights, then there is an issue there. And then you compound that about there's a guy what is I forget his name, the referee who came out of late and saying basically Tyson Fury is the dirtiest fighter he's ever you know refed for. And then he made sure by saying, Andrew Galata, he did him three times. And Galata, we know him, the people that are old enough to know him, when he was fighting Riddick Bowe, kept hitting him low. And winning, in my opinion. And you know what's funny? I'm going for Andre Galata against Riddick Bowe. Because I rolled with Lennox Lewis, and I didn't like Riddick Bowe being more famous than Lennox Lewis without fighting him. That's why people, that I'm always on Anthony Joshua, because it's the same thing. Anthony Joshua was more famous than Deontay Wilder without fighting him. It's the same thing. Riddick Bowe, I like you because he was more famous than Lennox Lewis without fighting him. And people were ignoring that fact. There was a few things going on. I was like, what's up with that? Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson without fighting him. People would talk about Mike Tyson more than Lennox Lewis. And Lennox Lewis beat him up. Oh, well, he wouldn't have beat up a prime Mike Tyson. Well, prime Mike Tyson wasn't trying to fight him. It's the same kind of thing. So I was going for Galata against him. But I was like, man, why are you winning and hitting him low? And then keep doing it, right? And Galata just, the screws wasn't really, all of them wasn't tight. That's all. But he's a good fighter. Andrew Galata's a good fighter, but notoriously a cheater. And so I forget the guy's name, but the same guy, this referee, has refereed 24 years, and he's definitely renowned and he's known. And I didn't personally like him because I like the way he was doing the fight between Mike Tyson and your boy Lennox Lewis. He's all up in the way. That's the same one, Big Brother. He used to box himself. I forget his name right now. That's my bad because I'm supposed to know his name. He's one of the referees that's famous enough to make sure you're supposed to know his name. So that's my bad there. But anyway, the dude was in the way in that Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis fight. And it made me look like, what's up with you, dude? You're all in the way, just messing with Lennox Lewis while Lennox Lewis is convincing and beating up Mike Tyson and being fair about it. And he acting like he wasn't. You know what I mean? So it was really, he was on my nerves in that fight, big time. So it's not like I'm the huge fan of him. But if he's doing this and he's telling you after a fight, and this is a fight with little old Steve Cunningham, who's basically coming up from cruiserweight, you know, 40 something pounds less than Tyson. Why are you doing tactics? He's the dirtiest fighter he's ever refed. Now imagine that. So that's coming out of Mike Tyson. Now you have the farmer as well coming in saying that Mike Tyson, tried to pay him off. We've talked about it. And anybody who has found me in the internet somewhere knows these things probably by now. It's a lot of transgressions. We've known about it. We've talked about it. It's documented with Tyson Fury. There's going to be issues. The funny thing is in America, you have debate shows that will talk about stuff that's important in sport, and the heavyweight champion of the world, the one that's number one, has all this going on, and not a word. That for me personally, I watch them carefully, and I would love to respect them because they seem to know what they're talking about in sport. But for some reason, the heavyweight champion of the world, here's a guy saying, "Hey, your champ was doped," and he asked me to give him my alibi, and I gave it to him, and he didn't even pay me. So now I'm a dime on him. I'm telling him, you know. And then you look at him, you think there's some 35-year-old dude that wants to go drive a a Ferrari or something. This is the old dude, man, on his tractor. Just 25,000 makes a difference in his life. Give me my money. I lied for you. I told you, wild boy, but I didn't give it to you. But everybody's saying that he didn't do it. Well, come on TV like you did about Deontay Wilder's suit in an interview that I will continue to repeat. Deontay Wilder, before he said that comment and after, this is my fault. I am not making no excuse here. This is my fault. But maybe that thing was a little bit too heavy for me. My legs wobbling around one, and everybody act like they didn't see that. But that was enough to come on those debate shows and everywhere, all over the world, all in the articles, right? About a suit that he mentioned. And no one mentioned that he said it's my fault. Well, a couple of articles. I ain't gonna lie, about two of them from 40. I did see the quote, hey, this is all on me. I made the mistake. I ain't making no excuses for nobody else. That's not how it was presented, though. And bottom line, it was presented, though, right? So you got to go into the internet to hear something about the heavyweight champion being accused of gloves tampering on several occasions, including the fights with Wilder, and lying about his naltrexone test. And that will not make the news in America. All of the debate shows that right now, because of the virus, are looking for titles to do. The only thing to talk about is Tom Brady leaving New England to go to Tampa Bay. And you can't mention that the heavyweight champion is having problems. I'm hoping I see some, in a minute here, right? Because if not, what's happening with that? Selective memory. And I've seen it happen with something that was huge that shook the boxing community with the racist emails between you know, Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya and Ring Magazine. And when you want to say Ring Magazine is the boxing Bible, that's something big in the world of boxing. And to call another big advisor huge, one of the third strongest people in boxing right now, with the most, how would you say it, with the most power right now, it would be Al Heyman. We just don't see him, right? But to be called nigger and the black Hitler in emails going back and forth, many of them, and other names, websites, huge websites were mentioned, and no one had to come back and say, "Oh, we ain't got nothing to do with that. We rebuke that. The person who said that will be fired or reprimanded." Any of that, and any of the same debate shows that talk about everything that talked about the suit, okay, are not mentioning any of that. Nothing that's going on with Tyson Fury. Right? Nothing. Neither the gloves or this farmer talking. Or this guy that came out and said he's the dirtiest fighter that he's ever done. Right? And remember this. This guy, this referee, damn, it's a shame I don't know his name, but this referee said this way back then. Right? It's just rehashed so people to remind people. He said that way back then after the fight with Steve Cunningham. When was that? 215 or something like that? I'm not sure when the fight with Steve Cunningham was. So this is not something new. So when you hear that from way back then you would want to investigate. You would want to talk about that. You would want to exchange ideas on national TV for people to start getting their opinion. You would have to say what your opinion is about that. See, because your opinion is important about what Deontay Wilder's suit was, what you thought about that, what other boxers thought about that. Well, where are the boxers coming on national TV and saying what they think about this? Right? So we can hear them say, so we can find a side. So you can hear the boxer say, no, we don't think nothing about Wild Boar. We think that the farmer, he's not, anybody we should be paying attention to. So it should be taken serious. See what, make a statement. Best thing we do is don't talk about it at all. And that's what they continue to do. All right? But all that talking, we ain't got to the point. Tyson Fury done said of late, he's come out, and did a few little things. He ain't talking that much, but he just came out and said, say, man, shoot, the hardest punch I faced wasn't no Deontay Wilder in the first place. It's Vladimir Klitschko. That's who it is. It's Vladimir Klitschko. I know people gonna be getting mad, some Deontay Wilder fans talking about, man, it's got to be Deontay Wilder. You just said it was Deontay Wilder after the fight. It's Deontay Wilder. People gonna put up interviews. I'm telling you that right now. You just said it in front of national TV often. Deontay Wilder is the hardest puncher in boxing history. Not even heavyweight. Hardest puncher, boxing heavyweight, and boxing period, boxing heavyweight, hardest puncher in boxing. So coming from Tyson Fury and many others. So it's really, to come and say Vladimir Klitschko right now, people gonna check you, right? They're gonna check you on it. And it really doesn't matter. Now, logically, for me, if he said Vladimir Klitschko hits harder than Deontay Wilder, I won't have any issue with that, right? Really, because I'm just gonna pay attention to what he's probably saying. Listen, here's how I would break that down for you, right? Deontay Wilder has a 25%, no, 25% harder right hand than Vladimir Klitschko, right? You got to at least give him 25%. I'm just putting percents out there. Maybe it's 50% harder than Vladimir Klitschko, but 25% harder because Deontay Wilder has had more right-handed one-punch knockouts than whoever ever, anybody, if your name ain't Julian Jackson, right? So bottom line is anybody, one-punch knockout, boom, I hit you and the fight's over. And I'm already walking away talking to people after I hit you. That's letting you know he knows, bam, kiss of death, baby. Deontay Wilder, that right hand got to be 25% harder than Vladimir Klitschko's. Okay, but Vladimir Klitschko's left hook is definitely 25%. Now, I should give him a little bit more. Definitely 25% harder than Deontay Wilder's left hook. You know what I'm saying? Right? Ask Kubrat Pulev, who wasn't really trying to get knocked out by anyone, but that left hook kept getting him. Right? We're going to give Klitschko that. So who has the harder jab? Vladimir Steel Hammer Klitschko has the harder jab too. So when you talk about all around puncher, well, I wouldn't have no problem saying with Vladimir Klitschko. That's not what most people are saying though about Deontay Wilder. What they're talking about is that one punch, that right hand, one punch knockout power. It's got to be Deontay Wilder. But knockout power, hardest puncher, maybe it's other people because I'm going with George Foreman. You know what I'm saying? But George Foreman, I've seen a lot of people take George Foreman and give him something back, take his punches and give it back. But George Foreman is thudding, hard punches, don't miss many of them, hard punching dude, man, George Foreman, but those are the kind of guys I'm talking about. But I have no issue at all whatsoever if Tyson Fury says that Vladimir Klitschko is the harder puncher than Deontay Wilder and believes it. The problem that you're going to have, anybody, is that he has said otherwise before. Right? And that's his issue, right? That's his issue if you're what you're gonna believe, because he's definitely crowned Deontay Wilder the hardest puncher ever. So I don't know. This Tyson Fury here. Hey, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, things change. This is the dude. So with all that being said, when you're talking about boxing right now, you're gonna talk a little Tyson Fury right now because he's the number one heavyweight. And he's very, very controversial and things are coming up that I've told you before. That's why I didn't really talk too much about the gloves. We mentioned them here and there because it's just, we can't act like we're not on the planet. It's going down with those gloves. But at the end of the day, he's the number one dude, and he's going to have a little scrutiny, and a lot of things are going to be coming out. That's not it, even. There's more going to come out. Trust me, right? Because when people start feeling comfortable about saying things that, that have been out there for a while, it's going to even be more. You'll see. But at the end of the day, Vladimir Klitschko is the harder puncher than Deontay Wilder. What you think? It doesn't really matter because they both get you out of there. But what you think anyway? Throwing Sports Talk worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.